this live. Don't know why. We've got a beautiful fall day here in northern Colorado, and wife is asleep anyway, so I figured I'd come out on the porch, do a little bit of reading. Today's read, or this week or month, because I am not the best reader, or fastest, anyways. Slightly dyslexic over here. But I enjoy reading, and this is what I'm reading. And also Notobi's Code of the Samurai, Bushido, the Soul of Japan. I'm not going to get into that too much, but this is just the book for the video. It's got me thinking, though. We've got these shootings and these other attacks and things like that. And even if I take these as face value, that's what I'm going to do for the sake of this video. Face value, no conspiracy theory stuff. We got a problem. And I think we have this problem even with the conspiracy theories in place. I think that I think that martial arts in every household would have a huge effect. Here's why. There's two schools of thought. One school is the simple. Sorry, my battery's getting low. Is the simple. You might have a tactical understanding of the situation. You can either engage and eliminate the threat or be able to get out of the situation a lot easier. And then the other is more of a philosophical and cultural approach. I'm going to focus on that. When you practice martial arts, find ego. For example, if you're doing a submission and you have to admit when you are unable to get out of that submission, you have to tap out. Otherwise, you'll severely hurt yourself. Or, for example, if you're doing a striking art, if you don't keep that hand up the way it's supposed to, bip, you get your ego checked. You think you're good. You start doing this stylish head bob and stuff. No, bip. So this has huge psychological impacts on top of discipline and on top of all that other stuff. But that specifically has a huge psychological impact that people can face being wrong in the world. Another thing is when you're training with somebody, you have to connect with them a little bit. You have to know how to effectively train with that person without causing injury. So you have to connect with them mentally and emotionally. I think this would have a huge effect on the empathy in the world and sympathy if every household in the country or the world were to legitimately practice martial arts. And a lot of the psychological problems that a person is going to face before they would do some of these horrendous things could be spotted before that. We're a very supportive community, the martial arts community, and we usually reach out to people the moment we see a problem. And we usually feeling so inferior that they think that the only way they can make an impact on the world is to go shoot a place up. So there's a lot of cultural things that would change. We would be more together as a culture. Racism and a lot more mental discipline. One thing we've noticed in martial arts is that you don't have to be an amazing fighter. You really only have to protect against a certain level of people, and they're just criminals. Because if you get to a certain, you're not out there picking fights. So you're not having to fight. You're not ever going to fight Conor McGregor. That guy's never going to pick a fight with you. You're only going to have to fight certain people. So, because your mental health has balanced out, especially now with the better understanding of the way brain injuries and stuff like that have had an impact to things. There's much better practices now, which I think is a lot less likely, but is worth looking at is the more physical things. You need to be able to get out the back door. If you're in this open shooter scenario, you need to be able to get out the back door. You need to get out the back door without not only that, you need to be able to get out the back door and know that you're gonna have to jump over the dude that tripped over his own feet. Like you can't recreate safely. So you have to hang up your mind and your body and your spirit in order to be able to handle to control your emotions enough to where they don't get the better of you, and then you control your body, know the space that it takes up, and you can perceive a threat and then evade the threat a lot better. Sure, there's the possibility of um, engaging a threat and eliminating it, but that's not very likely. And I don't want to start telling people to do that, not without extensive training in firearms usage. But martial arts, everyday life, every household, it's extremely important. I think your mind and your body and your spirit, if everybody were doing it, would have a huge impact on whether or not these violent situations would come up as often or if ever. Because if you look at the times that we didn't have these things, we had other problems. But if we didn't have these problems, what were we looking at? We looked at religion being a huge, Christianity being a huge thing. And I'm not advocating for religion, but it did offer a spiritual way of life. And if you did it right, I think the Ten Commandments is a good way to live. Whether you're atheist or not, I think most people agree with that. I think you had boxing and fencing and wrestling were huge parts of our culture. A man was going to teach his boy to be a man, and he's going to teach these things. And the lessons that those particular practices have, as well as outdoorsmanship, all roll into the way you live your life. And then they tie into the religion very well. And then at the same time, we had a much better educational system. That kind of, most of this stuff really relies on the parents, but we need to do that. As parents, we need to, um, bring in good education and a good understanding of the world and making our children well read and literate and capable. So what are those three things? You look at the times, the Depression era, the World War II generation, and things like that. What did they have in those three practices? They had a warrior lifestyle. They had a bushido, if you will, and it offered them a code of conduct, a mind and body discipline, and an understanding of the reasons and why to do everything in the world. What we need to focus on is kung fu, and kung fu means to live well or to do well, and that's really the focus we need. So get out there, practice some martial arts. If you can't find a decent martial arts school, because I think 80% of them are stupid, go to a dance class, go to a gymnastics class, something like that. But we need a warrior culture. I think it needs to be a lot more important in our world like it was then. I think it needs to make a comeback. I don't know how to stop this video.